So apparently the mysterious off-camera guest we have today wanted to send me a meme, and they wanted to get my live reaction on camera to what it is, so let's have a look. The fuck is that?
It's the surprised expression gizmo. Pop it.
Wait. Well, there we go. While I pour this bit, this is not going to fit, is it? Let's have a look. I don't hear that often in this house, let's be honest. Right. Whee, dick jokes. Right, so a surprisingly common occurrence when making media aimed at children and young adults is slipping in more adult content and themes. Like, this is by no means unique, and many shows have done it. What is unique, though, is the way the show The Clangers handled it, primarily because all of the characters in that show communicate entirely through whistles in multiple languages.
Why are you shit at intros unless you're pouring a beer?
He works better at multitasking.
I guess so, yeah. Ladies. Also, I can't wait for all the comments about, why are you drinking Budweiser? Why are you not drinking, like, real ale? It's like, you can't drink 8 pints of real ale and then go out afterwards unless the place you want to go out to is a coma.
Also, times are tough. Budweiser is cheap.
Yes, it is. It's cheap.
I can't hear Budweiser without that frog advert popping in my head.
That's called good advertising. But, okay, so, do either of you guys know about the Clangers? I should clarify, we've got Brad and Nisha off camera today, and then a mysterious third person who cannot be identified.
It is I, mysterious third person.
What are you doing that for? They can't be identified for legal reasons. That's a real thing, by the way. Not my legal reasons, but someone else's. I wish I could explain, but the thing is, the more I try and explain it, the worse it sounds. I'm just going to stop. Well, you may occasionally hear a third voice off camera, and we can't tell you who that is. Anyway, what do you guys know about some Clangers?
They speak funny, because my mum used to watch it, and I never did, but I saw clips of like, something like that. I can't do it.
No one can. But, like, I love the Clangers. Clangers, for people maybe who aren't familiar with them, Americans mostly, the Clangers are a sentient species of mice-like creature that live on a moon, which is populated by all manner of strange creatures, including a dragon that loves soup, called the Soup Dragon.
The Soup Dragon looks rather worried.
And they are considered, like, a British cultural icon. Because Clangers.
I forgot it's whistling, isn't it? I can't whistle.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. I don't want to do many clips of the Clangers in it, because the Clangers are fucking awesome. Like, my dad has got like a little stuffed Clanger in his car, and just like every time I get in his car, I squeeze the Clanger and it makes the noise. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that's my Clanger song.
So cute. Brad's face just like...
He has no idea, does he?
He has no idea.
I'm aware of the Clangers.
You're aware of them, but you're not a fan. Are you not a Clanger fan? You're not a Clanger man?
I watched a bit of the Clangers. I just wasn't really that into it.
Be a fan.
Right, in which case then, Brad, what was the show you were obsessed with as a little kid? Because, like, for me, it was like stuff like The Clangers, because that's what my dad liked. So he'd put that on. I was like, it's The Clangers. Like, little 5-year-old me. He's like, they whistle. There's a dragon that likes soup.
I was definitely obsessed with Thomas the Tank Engine at one point, because we had all of the little trains.
Thomas is such a fucking G. Has anyone here watched Bullet Train?
No.
Which was like, I watched it when I was on a flight, and I'm like, it doesn't look too good. The trailers didn't make it look that good. That film is really good.
Is Thomas in it?
Thomas is in it.
Thomas is in it.
Thomas is like
Is he the train?
No, he's a key plot point is Thomas the Tank Engine. Like, that film was way better than...
He comes round in to save Brad Pitt.
No, like, that's the thing, he does. He actually does. And I can't say much about spoiling, but like, that film was surprisingly good. And everyone in it, except for Brad Pitt, is ace. And they have, like, just a character in it who's obsessed with Thomas the Tank Engine. And they're like, you're right fucking Thomas, you aren't you? It's like, what? It means you're good. You're a top lad. You're a top G. You're a Thomas. But if you're a bad lad, you're a Diesel. You're a fucking Diesel, innit? And it's like, what?
Everything I learned about people, I learned from Thomas.
Oh, you had to bring your sticker book, did you?
I always bring my stickers with me, you know that. Take Tangerine here. He's a Gordon. This blue one. And Gordon is the strongest, the most important, but he doesn't always listen to others.
What's that now?
I mean, some people are Edwards, wise, kind. Some are Henrys, hard-working, strong. Some people are diesels. Fuck me. That was the trouble.
Is that the film with, I want to say name correctly, Karen Fukuhara?
Yeah, she's in it, but she's in it for like 5 minutes. She's
Oh,
like...
so I wanted to watch it just because she's in it.
She doesn't do much. I was expecting her to do some, but she's like the lady on the train who like gives out like bottles of water, and she walks and she's blonde in it as well, which is weird. But yeah, that film is surprisingly good, and Thomas the Tank Engine plays a key role in the film.
Just picture that final scene like, Brad Pitt is in trouble, but the Fat Controller has sent Thomas in to give him a hand.
Oh, man.
Choo choo.
So I was like mad, like Thomas was great. I was like mad on Thomas as well, because like I had like all like the little train things as a kid. About you, Nisha?
There's so many, but I remember like watching, it was like Tots TV. I don't know if anyone else remembers that. Or like Rosie and Jim.
Oh, a bit of Rosie and Jim. Living on the fucking
Rosie
canal
and
boat.
Jim.
Tax dodging bastards.
Rosie and Jim, chugging along on the old rag doll. Rosie and Jim, and John, he steers the boat.
So the clangers were invented by a guy called Oliver Postgate, and he is a legendary figure in British children's television. And for the Americans at home, and maybe for you, and for the Americans at home, and you, Brad and Nisha, if you'd like to play, I'm going to read out a list of, like, you know, some of the shows that Postgate had a hand in, and you tell me which one isn't real. So I have the list here.
Okay.
We have Bagpuss, The Plorbs, Pingwings, Noggin the Nog, Ivor the Engine.
The second one, I'm going to say.
I recognise 2 of those. I'm going to say the third one.
So that was Pingwings.
Yeah, I feel like that's just what Benedict Cumberbatch calls penguins.
Pingwings is real. Which one did you say, Nisha?
Hello, children. What are you doing there?
We found a new Bumblebee Bush. Will you come and help us pick them?
Yes, Penny, I'll help. But Paul, I want you to take a big armful of bumbleberries and go in and keep your mother company. I think she's a bit bored all by herself.
What was the second one?
The Plorbs.
That one.
That's the one that I made up, yeah.
Yes!
Nisha got it right!
I win!
Listen, when you go back and look at the names of like kids' TV shows, and it's like fucking
Yeah.
Pingwings, like, what was that, Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Man? Yeah. It was like, do you remember as well, like, do you know one of the most controversial British TV moments is on like QI, when they said like, oh, the language that Bill and Ben speak is flobberdob? And like, the daughter or son of the original creator of Bill and Ben wrote a scathing letter like, that's not true. My parent never came up with a name for the language. That was something someone made up and it's a false fact. And they got really salty about Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Man. It's like, you know what? Cool your fucking tits. Like, calm the fuck down. Bill and Ben would not be having none of that.
Did you ever watch or hear about The Herbs? Did you ever hear about that one? It basically took place in a garden. And it was about it was about a lion called Parsley.
Parsley the lion!
I do remember that.
See,
Parsley the lion!
yes.
But Carl,
Yes.
have you heard of Pob?
Oh yeah, Pob is the monkey, yeah. And he's like, one way he goes like,
Monkey, but I've just sent you the image. Yeah, I've just sent you the image.
he does that and he would like write his name backwards on the screen. He's like this,
Have
like,
you ever seen the horrifically racist clip of Pob?
Oh no.
I don't
I'll
want to.
send it to you so you can, well, not put
Oh,
it in, but you know.
No, don't.
It's,
Oh no.
It's grim.
Pob.
Oh.
It's Pob.
The fuck is that?
What is Pob?
He looks like Michael Gove.
Anyway, let's move swiftly on, shall we? So moving back to the clangers, I'm just going to give you some dates now. Like, you know, they were first aired in the late 1960s, and they live on the moon. Or not the moon, a moon. But it looks a lot like our moon, but our moon doesn't have a dragon on
Is
it,
it made of
unfortunately.
cheese?
It's not made of cheese, no. There's a lot of cool shit on their moon, and they get attacked by stuff all the time. But it's like, can you think of like what major event maybe inspired the creation of the clangers? Something that happened in the 1960s.
Moon landing?
Yes. But they just thought, what about if you went to the moon? Some fucking mice are up there, just chilling, eating some soup, going like, woohoo! It's like, that's awesome.
It would make sense if it was made of cheese, because mice love cheese. So surely, like Wallace and Gromit, the moon's made of cheese.
He goes up there.
I love that. I always loved that when I was a kid. When I saw that, what was it, Grand Day Out. I loved the fact that the moon was made of cheese. I thought it was real.
Thing is though, in my house, wherever I am celebrating Christmas, it is not Christmas for me until I've heard the sound of Feathers McGraw going. that noise sends me every time. Every time I watch, I like wait that I'm sat there like 30 years old on Christmas morning with a beer, watching this show, and I ask, shut up! Yes, Feathers McGraw is in.
So, you know the Snowman, the famous thing, the Snowman.
Yeah, I hate that film. I hate that film.
Terrible.
So for me, that was like, oh, that's a Christmas memory because we watched it at Christmas. But my sister's fiance had a go at me because I hadn't seen Father Christmas, which is like I think it's the same art style, the same people, but it's just Santa Claus trying to have a holiday during the year when he's not working, and he just keeps saying blooming all the time. Oh, blooming Christmas! Oh, blooming this, blooming that.
Do you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like Postman Pat. That's why I hated Postman Pat. Because that's one of the things about kids' shows.
Hate's a strong word.
Well, that's the thing. Have you heard something about kids' TV shows that is like really frustrating as an adult? Is that a lot of the characters on them are arseholes. So are you familiar with like the hate over in America for Caillou?
Caillou is...
Well, Caillou is a little shit.
That's my teddy and my bunny. Give them back. They're mine. Don't be silly, Caillou. Sit down and play nicely.
So to describe Caillou, he's a little bald kid, and there is a common fan theory that he's got cancer, and that's why his parents are so accommodating. Because all Caillou does is like act like a shit, and then his parents just enable him. And there is a fan theory to that fan theory that it's not that he's got cancer, it's that he's so fundamentally unlovable, his own body decided that he does not deserve hair, because that would indicate warmth, which would indicate something cares about him. It's like his own body rejected hair as a fuck you. And just the idea of people decide, you know what, fuck Caillou. He's like, have you seen that thing like Grandpa Joe hate on Reddit? Where like people watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, someone always corrects that.
We've talked about this in a Calling All Commenters video.
It's fine. Where people are like, you know, Grandpa Joe, fuck Grandpa Joe. He's like lying in bed, fucking collecting his benefits. He's like, oh, look, I've got a ticket to a chocolate factory. When he starts dancing around like a dickhead.
Yeah, he doesn't let Charlie's mum go with them.
No.
The one who does all the work all day.
As soon as I get my strength back, I'm going to get out of this bed and help him.
Dad, in all the years you've been saying you're going to get out of that bed, I've yet to see you set foot on the floor.
Well, maybe if the floor wasn't so cold.
But also, like what we point out, there's a bit where he like gets a chocolate bar out for Charlie, and he's like, "Oh, this is maybe your one last chance," but he does it secretly. Why? Because he fucking walked out the house and went and bought that chocolate.
Yeah. There's also the bit as well right at the end where it's like,
fucker.
It's like you can come live in the chocolate factory. It's like, and me?
Right. So the factory's yours, Charlie. You can move in immediately.
And me?
Absolutely.
It's like, fuck you, Grandpa!
Isn't he like, oh, I've got a golden ticket?
Yeah, I've got a golden ticket.
Entitled bastard.
'Cause I've got a golden ticket.
And the reason Charlie nearly loses out is because Grandpa Joe is the one who wants to drink the fizzy lifting drinks.
It is, yeah. And that's why, like, you know...
And then he has a go at Wonka, but he's like, you take away this you break this poor boy's heart, even though he was the one who brought the rules. But they signed the contract. And he told Charlie not to read that contract.
And then the line as well that gets me that I forgot about until I rewatched the film like last year, I think. Where he says, if Slughorn wants a gobstopper, we'll give him one.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, you know what? Let's just go sell this guy's intellectual property to his biggest competitor. Fuck you.
What's that? We broke the rules. Fuck you, let's ruin your business. Fuck Grandpa Joe.
Exactly. And yeah, you know, I get it. Are there any kids show characters that you have that level of like vehement hatred for? Because one that I don't get, personally, is Peppa Pig. Because I love Peppa Pig, but apparently there's a big group of people who do not like Peppa Pig. It's like, she's such a little shit. But it's like, I like Peppa Pig.
Oh, I can't not
Such
think
precocious little...
When I hear about Peppa Pig, I can't not think of Boris Johnson. That thing was like, have you ever been to Peppa Pig World? You know when he goes on these rambles, you're like, shut the fuck up.
Surely the previous Prime Minister that's linked to Peppa Pig is James Cameron.
David Cameron.
That one.
James Cameron! Yeah, James Cameron!
I said it with such confidence as well.
That's the thing, people really don't like Peppa Pig for some reason. It's like jumps in muddy puddles, she makes fun of Daddy Pig. But the thing is though, Daddy Pig is fucking getting it. Have you ever heard you not heard this? People don't know if there's any American women watch it. Maybe late 30s, early 40s. I'm gonna put in a clip now of Daddy Pig. And just listen to that voice, that audible caramel. That is like Daddy Pig.
I'm an expert at talking. We need a car.
Bravo. And do you know that guy gets nothing but fan mail off like older women who are like, I love watching Peppa Pig. And my heart goes a flutter every time Daddy Pig says you've been a naughty girl. And it's like, oh, you go Daddy Pig!
So you just talk like Daddy Pig the whole time?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But with less cake.
Yeah.
That's a real daddy.
Yes, but now...
And like so many women like go up to him in the street and call him Daddy, and he's like, you know what, he's doing alright.
I have genuinely forgotten what this video is about.
Oh, it's about
Clangers.
It's about the
Clangers, that's the one.
So bring it back to the Clangers, as mentioned, they speak entirely through whistles. And you'd think this would be a cost-cutting measure, because if they speak in whistles, you don't need scripts. You just need a narrator, which was, fun fact, for the first couple of years, Postgate himself. And they brought in another one for reboots and later seasons. But that's not the case, because the Clangers actually had scripts for lines that were spoken entirely through whistle.
That is a clanger. And that is another clanger.
Is it like the way that like Kenny's lines in South Park
Yes.
are all actual dialogue?
Yeah, it's exactly that, yes. And here's the fun fact for today, that those lines had a lot of swearing in them. But Postgate reasoned that because they're speaking through whistle, no one's going to get that. And his thinking was, well, surely people will know the Clangers are swearing, because there's like somewhere like, well, they're clearly angry, there's angry whistles. And like he said, like some people interpret it like, oh, you've been on a right nasty little shit. Or something like that. So, well, if that's what they think, that's their mind, that's their problem. People with like, good, clean minds, like children, won't assume the Clangers are swearing. And the parents, they might, but they'll get a kick out of it and they'll know that, it's innocent fun and the kids aren't going to pick up any bad habits or bad language because they're not speaking. Even though they are, because they've got scripts. And here's the weird thing about the Clangers though, because there might be some fans out there who speak multiple languages. Like, what language do you think the Clangers are speaking? Because the answer is, whatever language you think they are.
Ah, Major is going to put his back into it.
And because there have been multiple case studies done on the Clangers, and when they get people whose like native tongue is not English and ask them, what language do the Clangers speak? And they always say whatever their native language is. They innately understand what the Clangers are saying, regardless of what language, the Clangers get translated into. So all they need to do is once you've translated the narration, people understand the Clangers. And there's people they speak in Swedish, speak in German, they're speaking whatever. And they never have to change the whistles, even though the whistles are based on English. It's so the whistles' cipher language will be English, but people understand it to mean whatever their language. That's really fascinating to me.
I suppose it's a little bit like Pingu as well, because that's just like
The newt, it's all about the newt, man.
Like they're really angry most of the time.
Oh, man, people maybe watch this channel, you might miss Wiki Weekends. Me and Lucas are relaunching Wiki Weekends, its own thing, and I did an entire episode on censorship in Pingu. There are so many forbidden Pingu episodes where shit gets super real. There was an episode of Pingu where Pingu gets his fucking head caved in.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Or one where hides in a cupboard and we can't have this on TV. It's why kids will hide in cupboards and die.
only episode I really remember that is the one with the seal.
The seal, yeah, with human sonic teeth. It's terrifying.
He just keeps stealing his fish.
Well, speaking of Pingu, what kids show protagonist is the most gangster to you, and why is it Pingu? So when you think gangster, you think Pingu, right? You just think when he's fucking swaggering in like an absolute don.
I suppose, because especially now, because there's loads of TikToks of when you come home drunk at 2 AM and it's just in the toilet.
Never forget as well, it's Pingu pissing on his fucking carpet in his front room.
Yeah, he is pretty gangster to be fair. I never really noticed.
Thug life Pingu, man.
But I don't know. Can you think of any?
You know what, audience at home, let us know. What when you think absolute fucking top G, what kids show characters pops into mind for you? For me, it's always Pingu.
Gromit.
I bet Gromit is pretty fucking is a literal top dog.
Don't worry, Gromit.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good impression to be fair.
Just a whistle.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's more R2D2 than Clangers. And that's another example of that, isn't it? Where people understand R2D2. We never forget that cursed, deleted scene from one of the Star Wars prequels where Anakin and Obi-Wan speak in droid language, and they just dub in R2 noises, and that was you know it's bad because George Lucas himself went, that's too far, and if he's saying it's too far, it's too fucking far.
Can you understand what he's saying? I'm not a protocol droid. I'm pretty sure that beep is down. I sense Count Dooku is above us. Oh, yes, you're right. Beep is up.
So you said that the clangers, like the scripts, had swear words in.
Yes.
Do you happen to have any examples of what the swear words were?
We don't really know because a lot of the scripts have been lost, but we do have interviews with Postgate, who I consider to be like, you know, the absolute authority on all things clangers, because he's like, you know, he invented the universe. Where he's like, yeah, they were such little shits. They were swearing all the time. They are such naughty little buggers, but you can't tell because they're whistling. Then you have his own son who, when putting on his like autobiography or something, told a few stories about, yeah, my dad, like with the scripts, there was a lot of swear words in there. It was like there was a lot of adult content in the clangers. I can't reveal what it is because it would, like, you know, sully the reputation of the clangers. But suffice to say, clangers, arseholes.
It does make sense though, because if you're communicating through whistles, but the same way with like R2-D2, like the tone of the whistles indicates his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want people to know what the clangers are feeling, you would write full sentences and have that whistled out, and then people would infer emotion from those whistles. So if you want them to be angry, you would put swear words in.
Yeah, it's also as well just a natural human phenomenon to anthropomorphize things. And it reminds me of something that went viral a few weeks ago where someone wrote a thesis and it's called something like this essay on object anthropomorphization in patients with autism will feel really sad if you don't read it. And it's just that thing, it's like, and then people are like, I feel bad for the essay for not reading it now. And it's like, yeah, that's all you need to do. It's like, think about how many people like you Roombas. Like, there's people who apologise to their Roombas or their Alexa.
I thanked my Alexa earlier today.
Do. It's just human nature to anthropomorphise things that, you know, you feel an attachment to, and whether, you know, abstract that attachment is. And it's the same thing with the clangers. And like, you know, you like these things, you want to spend time in their world. You're naturally going to, like, you know, relate to them, and as a result, you think you can understand them. And the fact that it's not just kids who do that, but fully grown adults who are like, well, yeah, the clangers are speaking perfect English, or they're speaking perfect German. I understand exactly what they're saying because they empathise with the situations that they're in, even though they are tiny little mice creatures that live on the moon and eat soup. And that's awesome.
I wonder what clanger meat would taste like.
Fluff.
Why?
I was
Fluff.
just...
Well, they're stuffed, aren't they?
I thought you said love.
He said love as well.
Love. Ah, damn it! I've had a beer. Oh,
3 against 1.
No, so we're 23 minutes, so we'll just clap there quick.
Oh,
I'll say. Oh, so something people may have noticed while watching this video is I'm wearing a t-shirt. You might wonder, what's the design of that t-shirt, Carol? This is a
t-shirt, yeah.
As opposed to not wearing a t-shirt.
Well, so sometimes we don't, if there's a green screen kicking off behind us. But yeah, I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Edit it on, yeah.
This is a new design. Our friends over at Psycho Apparel have created. That word now, I will never be able to pronounce it. Ever. They have created this using artwork submitted by a friend and fan of the channel. And this is the Forbidden Knowledge. I keep saying Keeper of the Forbidden Knowledge. That does sound more metal to me, but it's the Forbidden Knowledge Keeper. And this is a design for a t-shirt that's going to be going on sale in limited quantities soon. But if you are watching this video within a week or so of it going live, you'll be able to vote on which version of this you would like to go live. So you can do that in the links below. But now we've got that out of the way, guys, a favourite, like, you know, kids show or character, or one that you might know related to when you were younger.
I just want to point out for anyone who's been watching the channel for a while, Karl never gives us any time to think of these things. He just throws it on us.
I would have figured after 5 years of working on a channel where the stated, like, you know, mission statement is this is improvised, you'd have got better at improvising.
Improv. As we've like, well, actually, I'm getting better at improv. With
Also, as
them
Brits,
on the side channel.
Yeah,
so.
banter's a thing. Go on, like, you know.
It is, but
any, like, you know, kids show characters that you, like, you know, empathise with, related to, thought were pretty cool, wanted to be like.
Not related to, but I used to really love Ed, and Eddie.
Which one?
All of them.
Well, which one did you relate to?
I mean, none of them are like me, but I used to like Ed because it's just like, dig a hole, dig a hole.
Have you ever seen those, like, compilations of, like, Ed, just like superhuman, like, god beast, And like, well, that episode where he like lifts up his entire house.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. He's just like secretly really strong.
Yeah. Well, the episode where like Eddie removes Jimmy's outline and he melts. And it's like the episode that broke TV. And you're like, they start commenting on like the animation techniques and stuff like that.
Is that Jimmy's outline? You betcha. Let's sell it back to him.
Fate has dealt a cruel hand. Darn it!
The thing is, my knowledge, like my memories of those kids shows that I did used to watch are very vague. Like, I know I watched Hey Arnold.
What, Dexter's Lab?
I didn't watch Dexter's Lab.
How did you not watch Dexter's Lab?
Powerpuff Girls.
No? Oh, I watched, was it Fairly Odd Parents?
Oh, that's good, that.
Yeah.
Did you watch the early seasons when it was like fucking off the chain?
I don't remember.
Oh, man. And I think one of the hallmarks of like a good kids show is that you can watch it as a kid, watch it as a teen, and then as an adult. And Fairly Odd Parents is one of those. Like, when you're a kid, you watch it for like the antics of like Timmy and his fairies, like magic and all that good stuff. As a teenager, you kind of get some of the humour, some of the jokes, and as an adult, you're like the parents though. Like the episode where like they wish, like where it's like they're milking, they're squeezing Cosmo to get magic out of him for lemonade. And like the dad's like, I wish I didn't have to go to work. And Godzilla destroys office like, hey honey, I'm unemployed. Let's go frolic with the other unemployed people.
Cool! I'm unemployed!
Just that line sends me. I don't know why.
I imagine like I've not watched it since I was little, but you know in the Powerpuff Girls they had the mayor.
Oh yeah.
And what was his assistant called? She
Miss
never saw.
Bellamy.
Yeah, you never saw her face. I bet there's so many adult jokes there that that went straight over my head. That if I watched it now, I'd be like, I get it. But yeah, I remember that because you could never see. That's the thing with them cartoons. There's a lot of parents and adults you just don't see their face.
Yeah, Cow and Chicken.
Tom and Jerry as well.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Cow and Chicken as well. They played with that trope where like they zoom out for that one episode and the parents just legs.
Something, Dad.
Mama, there's nobody quite like him.
Yeah.
And that's the episode I was speaking of adult content still on the radar. So the episode, the infamous band episode, where a bunch of female bikers come in and start gnawing on the carpet.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Just legs, sorry.
Yeah.
You used to laughing at legs.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But that's why there's so many of those things. It's like Rocko's Modern Life is the other one I was going to mention, where it's like, oh, I got a job working on the phones. And he's like, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Oh, you're done? Okay, bye.
Oh god, what else do we watch?
I never really watched Rugrats, but I did watch All Grown Up.
What a weird thing. I didn't watch the Rugrats, but I watched All Grown Up.
Well, All Grown Up was the Rugrats Grown Up.
The thing as well, like Rugrats, like, again, you watch it as a kid, when you watch it as an adult, and you think, like, Chucky's dad was fucking swinging when he somehow, like, goes to Japan and pulls, like, a hot fucking Asian MILF, and then brings her back to some podunk American town. It's like, I'm okay with this ginger man in glasses who's an absolute fucking just nightmare of a human being. Like, just this shambolic mess of a, like, human.
What about Recess?
Yes, I did watch Recess. Yeah.
Just one thing, because I've been rewatching Recess because I just wanted something in the background to watch. That show is so fucking, like, anti-capitalist. Like, that's to the point where you have, like, entire episodes where, like, capitalism doesn't work. Like, the teacher is, like, a huge hippie. And like they have like, and it's one of these things where I look at it and I go, if they made this today, they'd be like, they're trying to force stuff down our throat. It's like, no, it's just now you're more aware of how they do it. Like the teacher, Miss Grotke, so we're going to learn about American history and how white colonizers from Europe ruined like, Native American land. And that's just a line as a throwaway thing that kids never got. And I watched it and went, if they pull that on today, people would either be an uproar. And it was like, 10, 15 years ago, it's just a joke that presumably all the adult writers just found hilarious. This teacher teaching American history is just teaching an unvarnished version of it.
Now, I remember when the film Recess School's Out came out, and I loved that film. Like, I watched it multiple times.
Go fast, Brad. Go fast.
It was great. I enjoyed it. Thanks for being here. Bye.